Really excited we got a new computer for this. It just got here though, so they never.
Slow to load.
Yeah, this
A lot faster speed.
was a COVID afterthought, so. Let me double check. All right, we're good.
I'd like to call the meeting to order for the City of Kearney Park and Tree Board for Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Eric, would you like to swear in Ashton King as a new member of the Park Board?
Sure. If you're wondering, Ashton is our new Board of Aldermen liaison to the Park Board, replacing David Lehman, who was appointed to the P&Z. So if you'd raise your right hand, Ashton, and repeat after me. I, Ashton King, do solemnly swear that I possess all the qualifications
I, Ashton King, do solemnly swear to possess all the qualifications
of the office of Park Board member as prescribed by law.
as the of the officer of the board member, which by law
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Missouri,
and the state of Missouri,
the provisions of all laws
the provisions of all laws.
of this state affecting cities of this class,
The state is affecting city of class
and the ordinances of the city of Kearney, Missouri,
and the ordinances of Kearney, Missouri,
and faithfully demean
and faithfully demean
myself in office, so help me God.
myself in office, so help me God.
Perfect. If you would sign that, Ashton.
Welcome to the board.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Have you taken roll, Eric?
I have, thank you. I have taken roll, and we have 2 members that are absent, so we do have a quorum.
All right. Has everyone read the minutes from last meeting, which was Tuesday, April 15th, 2025? I will need a motion to approve them.
I move to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of the agenda. You need us to make a motion to approve the
I
agenda?
do.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the agenda for tonight.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Public requests and petitions.
It's our great pleasure, Ryan and I's great pleasure, that we introduce the Kearney High School botany class. Caitlin Fountain is the instructor at the high school. They gave Ryan and I a presentation as they've been working on a similar project like they did in the first semester. This one dealt with some things in the park that we're going to try and implement later on this fall. So with that, Caitlin, if you'd like to come forward and introduce your students, and then students, you can come up and we'll give your presentation with Ryan at the PowerPoint.
Before we start, which file am I doing?
So
From the beginning.
do you want me to go through the pollination garden as well? I don't have students here for that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go through pollination garden and then go ahead and click group B.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so while that is getting pulled up right there, just want to introduce myself. I'm Caitlin Fountain. I teach botany at the Kearney High School. I've been teaching botany for the last, I believe, 6 years so far, and we started implementing client connection projects. Those projects are where students are, first I reach out to the community, to different clients, just James Park with Brian and Eric, and ask them, is there something that my students can do to help you? And I sometimes give them ideas like, could we do a pollinator garden? Or do you have a educational walk that people can, walk through the park and look at identified trees? And then, like they did this time, they agreed, which I'm very, very happy that they did. And then from there, I give it over to my students. I say, here's your clients, here's what they want, now it's on you. And so their job is to reach out to clients, ask them about budgeting, ask them what they would like seeing done with their park or whatnot. And for this semester, we did it last semester as well, this semester we came up with pollinator gardens and with taking the, they have a binder with all of the trees listed out for the park on the different trails and digitalizing that binder. And so I'm going to run through just some of the pollination garden ideas that my students came up with. Just finals week, a few of them could not be here for this, so go ahead and click through there. Go ahead and click through there. So we, my students talked about bringing different pollinators to to Mac Porter Park. That's where we talked about that location. And specifically when Eric came in, he talked about bringing in monarch butterflies. And so students really grasped onto that. They started researching, what do monarch butterflies need to survive? What goes into a pollinator garden? And then we started talking about cost. What square area is this going to cover? Where's the location going to be? And so they researched different pollinator gardens, what goes into those. Go ahead and to the next slide. We talked about different locations. These two locations Eric had talked about at Mac Porter Park. Go ahead to the next one. And then students went from there, just started going straight into research. What plants can we plant in that pollinator garden? Is it going to be, something we're going to have to till up an area? Are they going to build a actual garden? I believe this group went through and just found the plants and then gave the areas that would be tilled up. There, go ahead to the next one. Talked about different pollinators that they would attract. Go ahead to the next one. The next one. And then materials, what they would need. And then they went into the pricing. There are, I believe, 3 groups that did this one on there that I have on your flash drive. Each one did a very similar project. One location was to the, not necessarily behind the baseball parks, but to the side where there's that walking trail. And then they mapped out all the costs that would go into this project as well. And then, for example, multiple groups also added, an educational tool with it. I believe it's on a different group's one. I don't think, this one is in it, but they added a I Spy game for littles. So if parents bring, littles to that park, okay, can we spot a monarch butterfly? Can we spot this type of plant? Can we spot this? And there to give it an educational tool as well for the community. Not only good use for pollinators, bringing in those monarch butterflies as they migrate, but also to educate our youth and adults as well. So that was with pollinator gardens. I'm not going to go through the other groups because I have 2 students here, Emmy and Camilla, that are going to walk you guys through their project by taking that binder of tree species and turning it digital. So I'm going to hand it over to you.
Which group number were they, Caitlin?
If we go back to
Or letter, I guess.
So it should be, go ahead and go back to the drive portion. Go ahead to the very top portion.
Word file.
Yes. Or possibly go one. Sometimes Canva does not like hash charts. Oh,
Okay,
okay.
this will work.
There we go. All right, so for our Client Connection project, we did the digital arboretum.
Bear with me, girls. There we go.
So our team was me, Emmy Divin, Camilla Womack, and then we had 2 other team members who weren't able to make it here today. Our team was 4 students from Miss Hutton's first hour botany class, and what we did was we identified several tree species along the trail and created easy to follow slideshows with information about each species. For the purpose of this, we wanted to create an easily accessible version of the tree arbitrary and to highlight the beauty of the trail and give more information about the trees. The first section that we worked on was the park entrance. So when constructing our digital format, we wanted to include more than just the tree's name. So we had both the common and scientific name, the height and spread of the species, the bloom time, the water needed for the species, and what that tree may attract. And if we were giving one a date for when the tree was planted. And then here's one of the images we took out of the binder to base our formatting on. And then here's the example, the scientific name and then the common name in parentheses and then the information down below. The next part we did from Jesse James was the Hilltop Lane. We did the same thing that we did for the park entrance. We included the height and spread, bloom time, water, and what the tree may attract. And that's a map of the section and the boundaries of what we did for Hilltop Lane. And here's an example from Hilltop Lane. It has all the same information. It has the common name, scientific name, and all that information. And then to keep our slides and information, we also decided to create a website to house them. With this website, we have a homepage, an about page, and a contact page. We published the website under the domain kearneyarbitrary.weebly.com. The budget for the website is under a custom domain, so to keep that subscription, we need it's a fee of $10 a month. When opening the website, you'll be greeted with the home page, and there you'll find 2 subsections. In these subsections, you'll find one labeled Park Entrance and one Hilltop Lane. When clicking on one of these buttons, you'll be took to a PDF containing the tree slideshow for that section. And then this is what it looks like for each section. So the part of the park that was documented for that section was highlighted and then with a button underneath it. We also have an about page in the website, and it's to educate. The about is why we educated, to educate those interested about the amazing life along our favorite trails at Jesse James. And that's what it looks like. We have a map of Kearney, so you can easily locate Jesse James on the map. And then we have a contact page. Now this is a little bit different now. We decided to update it. So in the contact page, you'll find a submissions box for viewers to enter their information and send an email, as well as Mr. Eric's and Ryan's information, both of their emails. And then here's a photo of what that looks like. For our signing, we used the Missouri Botanical Garden site. This was made by the botanist in Missouri. And we used it as inspiration for formatting, so we were able to be clear and precise with our information. And the result of this, our group was able to identify and organize over 40 different species of trees and included 68 slides of the trees in order from east to west. West-east. And then with our graph, the first area is the park entrance. And in the lighter color, you'll see that the species count is relatively low, while the slide count is a lot higher. But we decided to include duplicates. That way, when a person is walking along the trail
and they're viewing the slideshow, they'll see, okay, there's this tree, and then the same tree is here again, and then it switches to a different species. That way, it's actually concisive with the trail.
In conclusion, we were able to effectively organize both the Hilltop Lane and park entrance from the arbitrary binder and create a digital, easy-to-access copy for everyone's use and benefit.
Good job. Thank you, ladies.
Click on your site, but didn't want to mess up your presentation, so we'll click on your site now.
You might have to, okay, perfect.
Works wonderful.
So this is where you go on the website. This is what it looks like.
Yes.
So this is the site that they made. We're going to find a way to integrate this into our city website, in the Parks and Rec section naturally, but I know we've told you this before, but we think you guys knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
You were very thorough, and we think you did a great job.
Very thorough. So this is park entrance of Mac Border Park.
Jesse,
Yes.
It's park entrance of Jesse James,
Yes.
and then the softball fields at Mac Border.
Porter Park
Okay.
is where.
That was the Monarch.
That was the
Yeah.
monarch butterfly
Okay.
area.
All right.
This group did the tree species. A few years ago, Lanny Rodden gave us the book, and it's just handwritten and with some.
It's kind of intimidating, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it's
we said, here you go.
a lot of.
And they
care
took
when
it
you
They
write
did a great job.
Yeah, they
Great
took it and
job.
ran with it. Meeting with them, I think they were, this guy's crazy. But they did a great job.
So is this already up and ready for the community
It
to use?
is not.
Okay.
We have to get this from them.
So their site's live.
Yeah.
We just will integrate it into our own and take ownership on the back end and all that stuff, but that's a piece of cake. We can do that.
Yep.
So
I would just have to transfer the ownership of the site to them, and then they would have full control over everything.
I'd like to have some place on the site, maybe at the bottom, in the bottom header portion or footer portion, where you guys, list out who designed the site and everything. I think that'd be really cool.
Give you guys
We can talk about
credit.
that.
Yeah, we'll talk.
What grade are you girls in?
We're juniors.
Okay, nice. I'm impressed.
I don't know if there's anything like this, but have you ever thought about any scans out there, like putting something that would be like obnoxious, but something that would not like camouflage, but it would go onto the bark of the tree or the plant or anything like that. And as people walk through the park, even the butterfly thing, you can put the different flowers that are in there, and they can scan and learn more about that as they go. And it could also go back to put themselves on the map where they are. I don't know if there's any way to tie that together, but it'd be kind of nice, like a scavenger type hunt to identify
You mean like a
trees,
QR
plants,
code?
and different things in the park.
So as budget allows, that's something we'd like to do
Yeah.
naturally.
That'd
Budget's
be neat.
a real issue. I do think there's an advantage to waiting, though. I think we're very close to having a AR, augmented reality type experience inside of an app where we can just say, literally point your phone at it and it'll give you all that stuff. Based on, and we can make that work with their work. We can make that pull up a slide.
Because we still have the information, in the first semester, we had people, another group of students that we went and they presented to the Board of Aldermen. So we wanted to have this group present to you, and now that we have, our Board of Aldermen liaison, he'll take this information back, and because we're at the board's meetings as well, but we'd like to do this, and we're looking at grant money, especially for the monarch butterfly, through the Missouri Department of Conservation to get us some funds. And when time slows down, like this fall, get that planted, because we want a big area, because there's a big push of dwindling monarch butterflies, and we're right in the fly zone.
Yeah, we're in the migration path, like right in the middle of it.
And then this with the digitizing is going to be so nice. I mean, once we tell this to Lanny Rodden, he's going to be proud.
Yeah.
So true.
we'll have to set up a meeting with you guys.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
so we appreciate you.
Excellent.
Caitlin, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, very informative.
Do you have any other questions for these girls?
Yeah.
Okay,
Good job.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you're free to leave and have a fantastic summer.
You did great. Thank
Class
you.
dismissed.
Yeah. School's out.
Good luck in your last week.
All right, park updates.
Wanted to let you know that we've had one seasonal employee started earlier this month. We have one starting tomorrow, our second one, and then our third part-time will start the day after Memorial Day. We have 3 seasonal positions, and they share 1,000 hours per summer until they head back to class, college and things of that nature. It's helped, this one extra person's really helped us catch up on a lot of mowing because we were way behind. I mean, really way behind. So, wanted to let you know Ryan and I have tested the splash park. It opens this Friday at 10 a.m.
Nice.
Everything worked out real well. We dialed everything in. So that's good. The dechlorination system is also in. It'll be much better for Ryan and I, making sure when we do our tests that we are in compliance with DNR before this water goes down to into the tributary. One thing that's not yet done that is with the capital project is we're going to be adding a lot of riprap to that creek area in Lions Park. Just playing catch up, but that's something that can get done fairly quick. Brian, you want to add anything on that?
Yeah, the purpose of that is just to aid in erosion control. I think I mentioned last month, we kind of had an erosion issue on the north part of the creek, north boundary of the park, and we filled that in with stones and some riprap, but we'd like to just go ahead and do the entire creek, and that's why we asked for it in our capital outlay request. So that'll be getting done some point in the near future.
Right. As you see here, Ryan and I are proud. The top coat has been installed at Lions Park. This is what the kind of the base rubber, and I can pass it around, you can feel. This was the base rubber that they put in first, and then this is the top coat. Why they did another top coat is it's supposed to be poured all in one setting, so there are no seams. They didn't get that done, and Ryan and I weren't frankly.
They just kind of smack it on there and just spread it.
Yeah.
Walk by.
I know, yeah.
Okay, I was looking.
It's called pour in place.
I
That's
got
what-
it.
yeah.
No, I got it.
And they trowel it in, and it's supposed to be done all in one setting. They did not get that done, and it left a seam, and we weren't happy with it. And we still to this day have not paid for that because they haven't given us the invoice. But after the first pour, we called the owner out, and he said it is unacceptable, and so they put a whole new extra top coat on, and it seemed like they put it on a little extra thick because some of the areas by the slides seemed a little low, and it's much more smooth, so we're happy with that. And that project itself is getting paid for by use tax money, and we carried that over from last year because it wasn't paid for, but that was about a $95,000 project right there. So anyway, it's done. We're happy with it.
That's good.
And the kids seem to be happy. It was closed about 3.5 days, why they got it all taken care of. Happy to report to you that in less than a month, as of yesterday, our skate park will get its two new pieces of apparatus, skate park features. That's to be installed June 19th. And we heard from our installer on the new merry-go-round. It's technically called a 10-spin. That is going to be installed the week following Memorial Day. And then all we have to do is wait for the web climber to come in, and then the new web climber will be installed as well. So he'll come back and do 2 different installations. That web climber has been there since 2007, I think, is when that part, so we got great use out of it. It's the most used piece of equipment out there, bar none, bar none. So,
Does the
and to
park
get
have
that, go ahead.
Does that area have to close down during the installation?
That section he'll section that area off. One good thing about that, it's just the netting portion. The poles are in there. Those poles aren't coming out unless we have a massive tornado. I mean, it's sunk in so much concrete that it's crazy. So we're excited about that. And then naturally, we've the guys been mowing and trimming and doing ball fields, and then today they were in the parks cutting down the trees that we lost to the storm. So they were making trips out to our compost site. We had trees lost. The only good thing is some of them were Bradford pears, and that's okay. So
How many trees did we lose, do you know?
we lost
Awful lot.
we lost 1 at Mac, lost 1 at the cemetery, and 2 at Jesse, and then they trimmed cut some branches
That's
out and
not
some
bad.
had it split. So all in all, not as bad as what I thought.
Could've
And
been
they
worse.
didn't see any on the South Campus Trail, which is usually where we have some things happening. So
We did just take a big tree out last week, which probably would have been on the casualty list, so
right.
we got lucky there.
We got that down last week, as Ryan stated. And also, one other thing that was in our capital, paid for by use tax money, is our movie in the park system. That's completely in now. We got the last portion this last week.
Thursday.
Yeah, the actual projector and the screen, so everything is in on that.
We'll be likely testing that out next week and make sure we're all good to go.
Very nice.
That's all I have on capital projects, unless Ryan, you have something I might have missed?
I don't think so.
Okay. Any questions on that?
No?
Okay. Under food and flicks, movies in the park dates, if you look in your agenda packet, there are 2 editions. Ryan did a fantastic job on these flyers. Ryan has been busy sending these out to the schools through Peach Jar. So the parents of the elementary age kids are all getting these. We were really fortunate that Ryan had these done. As we had a group of students from Cameron, we had 3 busloads of kids.
That was pretty neat.
That was great. They visited Lions Park last week, and we were able to give them, we talked to their instructor, said, don't print them all out, we'll print them out, and we'll make sure that all these kids get it. So they had over 100 students in Lions Park, had their picnic lunch, played on the playground, had a great day, and I got a text from the teacher saying that the kindergartner said it's the best day of kindergarten they've ever had.
That's the goal.
So, anyway, those are our dates. This will be held in Lions Park, and we're happy to report that Cosentino's Price Chopper has agreed to sponsor all 4 of our movies in the park this year.
We literally could not do this in our budget without them.
Right.
Excellent.
What is attendance at the park? What's capacity there?
Probably about 500
500,
max, and that's
okay.
real tight.
Okay,
Um,
that's what I was wondering with parking and everything.
Realistically, probably 200 to 300 would be comfortable.
So we're gonna have these on Friday evenings. And we think it'll be a big hit because it's gonna be free. We're gonna have our food trucks there. Nani Shaved Ice and Stevie Ray's Barbecue, and who knows, they may show up early because then everybody that, from the public that wants some barbecue or, because the splash park will be open, the majority of these, and be able to have ice cream throughout the day and then at night as well, so.
What time is it?
So they're all at sunset.
Oh, okay.
And so naturally, sunset's kind of on a sliding scale until you get to the equinox, and then it's, you know, the other direction. We have a website that we list, that we found, I should say, that will tell you sunset. Generally speaking, sunset.
One good thing though, even though it is in the summer, we're fortunate to have the tree line to the west.
Yep.
So it should, in that area where we're going to be showing them is gonna be darker a little bit
That's
early.
one big advantage to doing movies there versus the amphitheater, where the sun is in the performer's eyes at the amphitheater versus the audience, and that's by design. I mean, you don't want, 1,000 people looking at the sun. Luckily here it's the other way around at Lions Park, so plays to our advantage when showing the movies.
Where's the projector located?
It is stored over at the 105 building.
Where will it be?
Oh, I'm sorry. At the southwest corner of the park, that little
The band shell.
band shell, yeah, that's where we're going to have it, is right there.
So it's nice. It's the screen's versatile. We can do front or rear projection. So we're going to play around with that as well, figure out which one we like more. I would imagine rear projection, but you never know.
And then people bring their lawn chairs and blankets and be able to enjoy it in the park. So,
Nice.
It's going to be good.
Hull Park, if you want to look, if you would look to about the third to last page. At our last meeting, Ryan and I talked and said, hey, can you guys look at some of these cost estimates and where we think we might have to cut, because naturally it had the high contingency, which made things a lot higher on the overall price. We're still at that point right now because we're in a hold, discussing with the engineers because of the water and going through the rain gardens and then coming down. MoDOT had a concern of water going into their drop inlet, which is on 33, which would in turn affect everything downstream. Veenstra Kim, that's the company that's doing the water calculations for MoDOT, had sent them this information and it's well below their threshold. However, it's a MoDOT drop inlet, and it kind of conflicts what they're saying right here of they don't recommend reconfigure the proposed park drainage, but they're not, in case we do it, here's some things that they want. So they are looking at that to see, send them more data, showing them the actual calculations more in depth to see if we can get that to go into their drop inlet. If not, we're gonna have to go across people's yards. We'll have to trench to get it in the creek going to the northeast. And we don't wanna do that. This is the easiest, most economical way, and that will jump the price up a lot. So hopefully MoDOT will work with us with updated calculations and more detail that they're sending them, and hopefully they'll let us. Ryan, you want to add anything else?
Yeah, I wouldn't give up hope on this. I think the things they specifically are asking for are reasonable. They wouldn't, it appears at least, that they wouldn't add a tremendous amount of cost. And, you know, there's always room for negotiation and everything, so I wouldn't worry about it quite yet. It's just something to be aware of.
What would be the increased cost for it?
So, long story short, they basically want to make it very clear that we own everything going up to that drop inlet. So therefore, if there's ever a problem that's
Sure.
directly caused by what we own, we're responsible for it, we being the city. And then, of course, naturally, everything behind it would be our problem anyways. That's kind of the long and short of it. As far as flow rates and everything goes, like Eric said, we're well within their acceptable boundaries. I'm confident we will get something worked out.
Okay.
We have a secret weapon named Shelley. So, she has a lot of MoDOT experience, and we're going to utilize that.
So, but we wanted you to be aware of why we haven't came back with updated cost estimates, because they really can't do anything until we get some more information on this. But they're not holding up on their other end of getting the plans designed both ways, just in case A doesn't work with MoDOT, we can go to B with their cost updates, so we're not being held up, well, this failed, so now we got another 2 months to do updated costs and things of that nature. Ryan and I also sent a letter. These grants are great, but man, they are.
You got to follow it to a T.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so go ahead. Sorry.
You hit the nail on the head. We sent a letter to Patty Hubbard, wonderful. She's worked with us on our Lions Park project and loved the pickleball complex, that we took that over and renovated, because that used to be school LWCF program. But we asked them if like our fitness equipment or the shelters or something of that nature, if we can pull these pieces out and use separate contracts like Sourcewell, where it's a government approved through the state contract, or do we have to go out for bid on the whole project? And then our architect also asked if this was, you know, because of the cost of the project, and we have to do so much Buy American and so on and so forth. But that can really raise your costs immensely if we have to do it on the whole project. Whereas if we can source these out through a company that we like, because the fitness companies are way different. And Ryan and I are looking what we would like, and if we can do a sole source and use a Sourcewell or Omnia partner contract, it could save us a lot of money, especially when we're in a tight situation right now where we're at. So and I know, Ashton, this might seem all Greek to you, but
Soaking it in.
this project has been in the works for many, many, many years, and we just need to get it,
Finish line.
Yeah, across the finish line. But we have to do it to the T, or that portion of the project, they can withhold the payment back to us.
So those of you that don't know about these cooperative purchasing contracts, essentially what they are, most municipalities and school districts have a similar purchasing policy to what we have, where, okay, if it's above a certain dollar threshold, they have to get, say, 3 bids. So what these big groups do, like we're talking like City of Houston and you know, giant school districts, what they'll do is they'll put out a RFP saying, okay, here's what we're looking for. What are your guys' best bids? And they'll get like 20 bids on these things. So when the cooperative purchasing comes in is where they will then list that contract through companies like Omnia Partners or Sourcewell. And since that's all been competitively bid already, it saves us time we don't have to bid and we know that's the best price. So if we're looking for, say, a bench press, there's about 50 different companies that make an outdoor fitness bench press right now. Someone, somewhere in the United States has already been looking for this recently. And so we can piggyback off that contract and we don't have to bid it out and go through that whole process because it's already been done.
And
So that's kind of the
over
long story.
$75,000 on a total project, naturally in the state of Missouri is prevailing wage, which also jumps that price. But Ryan mentioned this, and the soccer goals that were in our capital project approved by the board. BSN Sports is one of the companies
Yeah,
that we
they're
can
on
do,
the
and boom, we can just order it right then and there instead of trying to get 3 bids.
So it also takes these companies as well agreeing to hold that price, with these conglomerate cooperative purchasing groups. So it's a really fascinating deal that's a really useful tool, especially for Parks and Rec. So we're happy.
Very nice.
Okay.
So there's a possibility of saving money through using.
If they allow us to do that.
And that's up to the grant lady?
Well, she knows the grant and she'll be able to find in that document, because we couldn't find where it wasn't allowed. But down there, it was not allowed for sure. So it might be something that we can do. So we just want to make sure and not do it, and it's $30-some thousand that we don't get reimbursed on, a 50-50 deal.
And so the danger of not being allowed to do it is, the contract's the way it's worded, it's basically the entire project's a turnkey deal. So if one company, you can just see how that would potentially negatively affect what we want to do as far as fitness equipment goes.
So you're just waiting on an answer?
Yeah.
She's very good, and I'm confident she'll get us this week.
And that'll help Larry, because there's some different companies that, like Ryan said, that we like better than others, that we think will be more beneficial to our seniors here, that will be used more. And if we're gonna install it, that's the thing, we want it to be used and be beneficial for people that are gonna be visiting the park instead of something that the general contractor thinks. And now they may ask us, hey, what equipment do you like? Where they'll go out and get a price, but it still probably is going to be higher because they're gonna bump that price up for themselves, where we can save it and pull that out and say, just install it.
And also get exactly what we want.
Right.
So,
However, the overall price is still $236,000 over budget.
Right now.
So shaving this and that is probably not gonna be enough, right?
But you might think that he had a 20% contingency on that got it to that 236,000. When we get down, he's gonna be pretty close on all of his prices and be able to tell us, all right, we can knock this contingency down because I'm pretty certain on this price. And then that can go to something else. The part of the contingency will go to something else. But he knows we've got $500,000, and that is it. Because I don't want to have to send Connie to the Board of Aldermen and say, we need another $20,000.
She'll get it.
we're not gonna do that.
No.
We've never been over on a project, we're not gonna start.
So
All right, is that it for park updates?
that's what I have.
All right, youth sports.
So we have started games for soccer and all baseball, t-ball, softball. Everything is going really good. No brawls. Everything's, there's a little bit of shoving with the little soccer players. We had to get after them on Saturday. There's a parent that was upset about it, but those guys are doing good, and overall, everything seems to be going great. We had some hiccups. We used a new jersey supplier, which was a big savings for us, but we were the largest order they had ever done, and it showed. That being said, the quality of the product was great. So organization, needs to get a little better, but overall, I think everyone's happy with the product. There's a variety of jersey colors, and I mean,
I love the hats.
yeah, the hats are fantastic, and they're like $7. I mean, the hats are. I'm like, I kind of want an adult-sized one, honestly, but no, everything's going good with that. We're getting ready to start enrollment for our summer league 5v5 softball for adults. Did just find out today that our umpire group will not do that. So we're gonna have to get different umpires for that particular league. They just don't do slow pitch adult at all anymore. So we'll get it figured out. And let's see, we have summer pickleball that's gonna be starting June 17th, 16th, whatever the Monday is. Yeah. We'll be starting then, and it won't be as packed as this session. We probably won't get the 400 people, but we'll get 300 for sure. Once it gets hot, some people just kind of chicken out until the fall, but it'll be a great session. We just wrapped up spring pickleball camps this last weekend. Those went really well. We had close to 30 participants, which is great. We just have a ton going on, man. I don't know what I'm missing, but I'm sure I'm missing something.
Well, we had an employee
Oh, yeah.
get together at the pickleball complex.
Had an employee pickleball night last Friday. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of employees report to me on Saturday and Sunday, and a couple on Monday that they're like, "Oh man, this is crazy." So luckily, no injuries. So we're all really happy about that, and everybody brought their families, and there was a lot of kids. So we had a kids lesson. We had some of the local pros from the nearby communities come in and teach lessons. So it was a good time. And I think we're going to do it again. So.
Very nice.
Good. Amphitheater?
Amphitheater? Sorry. Yeah, so if you want to flip to the back on your schedules there, the bit right peak deal, those are all of our amphitheater shows, including the Saturday, June 21st show put on by Life 88.5 that we couldn't announce until recently. But it's Colton Dixon, a Christian artist, Caleb and John, and there's a new female opener that was just added this week that will be really fantastic. All of our shows are free, and it's thanks to those sponsors down there at the bottom of the sheet. Some of those sponsors have been with us since day one, like Kearney Trust and La Fuente. Those people have really made our program a priority to support, and we just greatly appreciate them. It's going to be a great summer. So with the Life 88.5 show, we have 5 in total. I think we're going to have good attendance.
Most of the shows, all but one, well, really two, gates open at 6:30. Yeah, all but one. Concert at 7:30, and then the July 3rd is fireworks at 9:30.
Yeah, you'll have your concert at 7:30 to 9:30.
So, but all the concerts are free. We have heard, people have asked on the street, how come we don't have any of the big name artists anymore? And I said, we can't afford $50,000 for someone that's got 1 or 2 hits on the radio. And I said, that's just for the band. And they could not believe that.
Yeah, the concert industry has really changed over the last decade.
It's crazy.
Yeah, the prices have, it's like everything else. The prices have just gone through the roof. So, naturally, we talk to other municipally owned venues, and they're all in the same situation we are. In fact, was it 2 years ago? I did a big report on municipally ran venues. Every single one of them lose money on these national acts to a T, every single one. They all wish they didn't have to do the national acts too, just FYI. Just because they know they're gonna lose. No matter how good they do, they know they're gonna lose money. It's, you know, it's sobering, but it's reality. That being said, I think we got a killer lineup this year.
I do too.
I really do.
And the Knights at Columbus, they'll be serving alcohol at all these, or
Well, all of them except for the Life 88.5 show.
that's kind of,
They'll be serving concessions,
Yeah.
just no alcohol.
all right.
They've been a good partner.
Yep, they've been with
Doing
us
that,
since day one
it's
too.
been really good, so,
Do you two put this together?
yeah.
What's that? The flyer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the flyer, yeah.
What do you guys put the band together? You guys get everything organized?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good job.
All right,
It's a good time.
anything else with that, Ryan?
That's all I got. Hope to see you all out there. It's gonna be a fun summer.
All right, board comments.
No comments from the board?
We had that vandalism at the Lions Park last week. That was all taken care of.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Someone identified them?
We had multiple people identify those people.
Yeah.
So
Were they Kearney people?
they were showing, and this is a testament to sharing stuff on Facebook, guys. The father of one of them contacted me directly because he knows me and I know him. This was after they had already went down and talked to the police. So they did the right thing, but we had another person that came to us and identified 3 of them, I think. So the situation's been dealt with, and I think we won't have any problem getting restitution on that.
What was damaged?
300 max.
And what was it?
Believe it or not, it was just a soap dispenser and a bunch of soap. Yeah. But so here's the thing, you have to factor in labor on those things too. And you're gonna have to repair the wall from where they tore it out, you know, because it was in block wall, so, or concrete rather. So, I mean, there's some labor in that, but 250, I'd say, somewhere in that neighborhood.
That's why we don't have the baby changing stations on.
And we
on the
can't
wall.
keep them up.
Can't keep them up, they rip them off.
Jump on them, sit on them.
About $700.
Yeah. One time we actually caught a kid with the camera, and you know, the cameras have been wonderful for us. Well, we caught a kid with our camera who was jumping on a baby station because another kid had the door open and the camera was pointing at the mirror. And so we caught the kid's reflection doing it. And so, you know, there's always interesting stuff like that, but we're sure glad we got the cameras. And we had another park department reach out to us last week as soon as we posted that, hey, tell us about your cameras, you know? And so we're definitely happy to share that information. It's been a real success for us.
So I saw where it was posted that they had vandalized, but, and I haven't been on Facebook much, but did the police or anybody ever make a post that these kids were caught?
Yes.
And it cost this much and they're
So there's certain
getting
things they can't say online.
charged or something?
It said that it had been identified, and that's probably gonna be it,
Okay.
but it
It'll
will
go
be dealt
through
with.
the juvenile Clay
Yeah.
County.
Yeah, it just would be nice for everyone to see that, hey, don't mess around up here because we're gonna get you.
Yeah, for one thing, they will contact us and there's different things because first, it's a dawn to dusk park. This was at 3:30, 3:45 in the morning. Naturally, they're juveniles.
There's some drug use involved.
How old were they? Like, do you know?
Yeah, we don't know, all we know is they're minors. Obviously teenagers because they're driving, or at least one of them was. And that's part of the reason they have to be kind of scarce on the details is because they're minors. They don't want to open that can of worms, I'm sure. So, but they've been caught, it's being dealt with.
So we are looking, because we got, and actually this was done before the pickleball complex, but Ryan and I are looking into getting automated locks after a certain hour where you're not going to be able to get into the bathrooms at night, overnight.
Yeah, the cost on those has gone down tremendously, which is like the only thing apparently. But,
What do they run?
a good one's gonna run 500. You know, up to infinity, you know.
But when you figure the cost of a soap dispenser is 300 and the 500 could
Well, the
save
cost
us
to
from
replace the soap
vandalism.
dispenser, the
Yeah.
product and the thing. I mean, I don't want it, people thinking we have $300 soap dispensers. That's
Right,
not the case.
right, it's the
But
whole thing,
yeah,
but still,
the
it
whole
would
shebang.
save that.
It could have, yeah, yeah. And I mean, this isn't an isolated case either, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we'll find a way to make that work within our budget.
all right, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'm going to adjourn the meeting.
Second,
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
No.